Hi everyone. Today we are diving into Databricks Genie and how it leverages generative BI to simplify analytics. Some vendors are calling it agentic BI, but mind you, these are still assistants with basic capabilities. But I'm impressed so far how this works on Databricks and especially the SQL that is generated. Underneath, it still uses OpenAI, so technically you can build your own solutions like this. But if you're already on Databricks, this might be the tool of choice for your early data exploration without needing to write SQL. Let's take a dive into this. So this is the Databricks UI. All you need to do is go to Genie. If you have data uploaded, you can work with that. I'm just going to use the sample data that Databricks provides. This is how the Genie space actually looks like. I've tried like some chats with this, but I've deleted the chats for this demo. First thing that you can notice is that in the settings, or when you're creating the Genie space, you can give ideally 5 to 10 tables. That should work best. You can also give sample questions so people don't start from the scratch, and it does generate a description for you, but you can still alter that. So those were the settings that you can sort of give while building your Genie space. But mind you, you don't create any joins here. It's all managed by a primary or foreign key. If you don't have a primary or foreign key, I think you will have some issues with generating of SQL. But for this data set, those are clearly defined, and we have given some basic SQLs as well to teach the model. The other thing that it allows you to also have is some benchmarks. So if you have given some questions, you are giving those lines of SQL here. So the model will leverage these standard SQLs for your data set, and you can give some other benchmarks as well, and you can execute them. So that will tell model what sort of joins or what sort of SQL it should generate. And you can also see all your data. I think if you have too much data, which is more than 10 tables, this feature will still not work well for you, but for 5 to 10 tables it seems to be working well. And you can see like all the data that you have in this data set. So you can also see the tables that are there, the columns that are inside it. So it allows you to traverse all the data. And there is a history button as well, so when you start asking questions, you can see what you have asked in the past, and we'll do that shortly. And then coming back to instructions, you can define like a lot of prompting techniques there. So if you want to give like first quarter, second quarter, you can sort of give those instructions in this prompt, and the model will evaluate that. You can give its own, this prompt your own personal touch as well. So like here I have given like generate a response as like a James Bond image if the model does not understand the question or it's unrelated to the data. So it's just you can personalize and make it more fun for people accessing the data. Okay, and let's now ask some questions to this model. So for example, let's first explain what is the data set. And when you do that, it will go through all the tables that are in your data set, and it will generate a description for you. And it also sort of tells you the connections that are there, which is your primary key and foreign key connections that are for this data set. Okay, now let's ask it some questions. So I have written some questions that we can use to explore this data. So the first question can be like, show me the top selling products for Q2 2024. Now let's see how Genie will interpret this. You can see it does take some time, but I do have the basic subscription from Databricks. So it's generating some SQL now. Yep. So you can see the product Golden Gate Ginger that has the highest sales, and it does visualize things as well. And if you want to be sure, we do always review the SQL that has been generated. So you can see it generates like a CTE expression, which I think is always a better way to handle queries like this. So it's quite optimized to the task that we are trying to do here. and then it sort of selects from this temporary table, which seems to be correct, and it then orders it by total sales descending. And you can give some feedback also. So if the response was good, you can give the feedback. So people who are managing this Genie space, they'll get an output that this was generated properly. So this helps, and obviously you can generate some other sort of a visualizations that are needed for this data. Now let's try a little bit more complex questions, that might make more sense to actual user. So if I want to know, the number of franchisees by country, I can simply ask that, and I'm just, not following any specific best practice that is suggested by Databricks, but I'm just asking like, how would I ask a AI system like this? Yep. So it generates like a good counts query for us. So we'll see. I think it will generate a count distinct. Yep, that is the case. So it's select sales franchisee by country, then count distinct for franchisee ID, and then it does a proper group by and order by, and that's how we get this output. Okay. If you want to quickly maybe change the visualization, let's do it by a pie chart, and then let's see what happens. So it's quite good. So you can clearly see it has generated like a good pie chart for us, with Japan as the maximum number of franchisees about 20, then for USA 16, Australia 6, and then for other countries which is having lower number of franchisees. Now let's try to do some analytical queries that somebody would normally do. So here I want to get like the top sales by franchisees by country. Oops. So it asks me, could you please clarify what you mean by top franchisees? Are you referring to the franchises with highest total sales, or is there any other criteria? So I'll just copy this part and I'll just say I'm referring franchises with highest total sales. So let's see what it does now. Here we go. So if you see the generated code, all this is doing is it's basically summing the total price as total sales, and then it's grouping it against country and franchisee ID. So it does the join properly and then gives you an output, but it really does not do any top function here. So in the next use case, I do want to try how it handles the top function. So let's try that now. So I'll say, show me the sales for top 2 franchisees for every country. And this is a decent medium complex SQL that I think many other generative BI systems will not be able to run in my experience. Beautiful. So if you say here, you are getting an output now for top 2 franchisees by every country. If in case there are 2 franchises in that country, you'll obviously get one row. But it's able to identify the franchisee ID, where you have the top 2 sales. And if you take a look at the generated SQL, it's quite good. So it says with franchisee sales as, and it does a sum of total sales, and then it does a row number over and then partitions by country, and then it does again like sum for total sales and generates a rank for that. And what you'll notice is here that it's doing sales, filtering of the sales rank. So normally I think other systems will not be able to do this as of now, but I think this is quite good for a text to SQL transformation engine as well. And then obviously I think there are some gaps as well. So if you want to go beyond what can be done in SQL, That's currently not an option. So for example, in QuickSight Q, you can generate like some forecast if you have enough data. But here, because this is all SQL based system, you cannot do that. So let's quickly see that how that works. So if I give a prompt which says generate a sales forecast for the next quarter, most likely it will fail. Yep. So it says to generate a sales forecast for next quarter, I need to know the specific method or model you would like to use for forecast like linear regression, moving average. Could you please specify a method with more details? So let's just say we'll use linear regression. So when we run the linear regression, it does not generate a forecast for us. All it does is it does a sum of total sales, extract the quarter out from there, and that's it. So this is not a system that you like to do your forecasting on, but it does serve like as a good data analyst for writing SQLs. So let me know what you think about Genie. If you have used it in past on any customer project, I would like to know more about that. Thank you. Bye.